Hello, everyone. It's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with
Q.
Hey, I don't know.
Thanks, though.
CJ. Alden Doncaster.
and off screen.
Barely.
And today we just finished playing Fae King's Coast. It's a D&D campaign that your boy Colin came up with. Real quick, hit us up with like you guys' character names so people can like know who you are.
Tyr.
Quick description of like race and class.
Dragonborn Cleric of Knowledge.
And what was like your goal? Chicken. Okay. Race, class, goal.
Alden Doncaster, human or Asmar, and sorcerer. He became a god.
Well, I mean, was that the goal
What was
though?
his goal?
Yeah, the
His
goal.
goal was to spread peace.
That sounds like you did it.
Character name, Grumac Steelblood. He was a half-orc paladin, Oath of Conquest. His goal was to take back his kingdom by gaining allies and power. So he went on these misadventures and eventually went back. He didn't die because half-orc. Kind of got some shit for betraying the party, but not really. Half-orc. Just,
Yeah.
you know.
Matt, well, you're off screen.
What do you mean?
Race, class, goal.
Ashes, 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 ashes.
God is us.
Alright, whoever like put the cards back in this magic item cards, thank you for messing
And
up
then
the box.
CJ.
Half orc, Alistar. Goal was to save slaves. So I saved all
all
the
but
slaves.
he blanked up for
Hey, Avery?
And then Colin has a summary of more or less what we did.
I was the GM. So, starts out, everybody wakes up.
I forgot to introduce myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm Roxanne, Warlock. My goal was just to be a performer and make money.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
He accidentally became a king.
Alright,
Accidentally.
so I was the GM of this little campaign. I called it the Fae King's Coast campaign. I have not made a PDF of it, so don't expect to play it yourself anytime soon. But the short version is everybody starts out in a cell, very Elder Scrolls. Grumach over here was in a cell all to himself while everybody else was in the same cell. And they sort of like got together and figured out a way to get out of there. They eventually realized that the castle that they were inside of was way up in the sky and maintained by mostly ice giants. Is that right? Ice giants? Frost giants. Anyways, they make their way out, they escape, and they discover that these frost giants are getting around on flying carpets. As far as to like, ransack towns and whatnot. And they let loose all of their magic flying carpets. And at that point, let's see.
Money that day.
And at that point,
Thank you for doing the right turn.
they sailed down and they met this gigantic dark elf.
My stepdad just asked my mom to marry him.
Oh, wow.
That's really sweet, man.
Wait,
They meet this.
is he now your stepdad or was he?
He's now my stepdad.
Okay, make. I call him my stepdad because it's. Because some people do like
Yeah.
renewing vows.
Yeah.
Anyways, that incredible news aside, what's the word I'm looking for? They meet this gigantic dark elf with a big head of blonde hair, named Ickle. And Ickle's like, I used to be the king of this entire continent, and then I got overthrown by a bunch of assholes. And the assholes were a vampire named Patroclus, a Rakshasa named Ajit, a
Thanks.
Sphinx named Sphinx,
And Tenchi City person.
and Tenchi City, which
Nobody
the
ever
campaign never got to Tenchi, so you guys never got to meet them. After a series of events, they eventually make it to Patroclus, after killing the Sphinx, mind you. And Patroclus is like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. This was my country. And then Ickle rolls up and kills everybody. So I, decided to kill him back. And we couldn't kill him because he's a god. So we locked him inside of a swamp. And that didn't work out. So then the party was like, oh, that really sucks. And they eventually switched sides and betrayed Ickle. They gather up basically an army. And they decide, what are these? These are, okay. Does anybody have theirs? And once they decide upon that, they actually fight Ickle.
Let's go for this one.
Yes, please. They fight Ickle, and they find the one object that removes his godhood essentially, and kill him. But when they kill him, as they did when they killed any other sort of being, such as the Sphinx, he basically released this divine blast, and one member of the party got killed in the process.
That would be Shadow's character, who was a warlock trying to bring back his brother so his brother could take over his kingdom.
Yeah, that was the Ash Man.
Yeah, he gets Infinity Ward.
One gentleman rolled a nat 20 on preventing himself from dying, and instead of dying, he was infused with divine energy that allowed him to later on become a god, who
Cool.
replaced Ikol's
3 nat 20s.
3 nat 20s in a row. So now, let's see, I've actually got the notes for what happened to everybody. Where is my notepad? Here.
You want to put this back in the freezer or refrigerator?
So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, we actually got 10 meetings in. So after 10 of these, where was I going with that? After 10 of these, our official endings were for each of the characters that made it through the entire campaign, because we had one extra who had to leave because of work.
Dead?
Yes. Shadow dies in the battle with Ickle. Roxxon, that would be your cameraman there, reunites the Fey King's Coast, the name of the location, as the Kingdom of Roxxon, as in he renamed it after himself, because he hated the Fey King. Alistar, which was CJ's character, becomes a slave-freeing legend, so like, he pissed off enough countries that they sent an entire army to try and capture him, and at the last moment he just jumps overboard and nobody finds his body, so they just assume he's dead, and thousands of years later people are still talking about him. Then Tyr, which is this gentleman right here, becomes the new king of an area called the Medusa Bay, named after Medusa, who unfortunately was a good guy that died in the battle with Ickle, in the same manner as Shadow. In the process, he causes the economy to boom, because they had this particular recipe for making fried chicken called Colonel Slithers. It's a joke, and he basically just exports it across the entire world.
Not serious.
That's an inside joke, but anyways, Colonel Slithers makes their local economy boom. Hip hip hooray! Grumach over here finally makes his way back to his home, and he barely survives the Brothers' War. So he took back his kingdom from his family, but you know, he's like hanging on to a thread of life in the process. And Alden over here is the gentleman who became a god. So in the next campaign that we'll be doing next semester, any sort of interactions with gods are going to most likely be through him in some level. But anyways, yeah, that was the second campaign that I've run to completion, and the first campaign that I would say was an actual success. So yeah, I had a pretty good time, and thank all of you for joining me. I know it wasn't always easy to spend roughly 6 hours of your life on a Friday night hanging out for D&D. So yeah, I appreciate it, gentlemen.
What things would you say about this campaign pleasantly and unpleasantly surprised you?
Pleasantly surprised. You guys actually all picked up on the majority of the mechanics really quick, especially those of you who have not played D&D before or for a while. I really liked how much role playing you got in, particularly Shadow's character, which you don't see him for one reason or another, and he like really got into his character. His character actually got to the point where it annoyed the other characters because of how effectively he was doing his character's whole bit. Like he had a phobia of giants, and everybody was like, "Why are you afraid of giants?" And he just never talked about it for various reasons. But I mean, he had a very good reason for being afraid of giants, and he played the character very well. I am disappointed that you guys didn't like make funny voices, because I did funny voices for everybody. I had
Voice
for
for
next
like
semester,
80% of the time.
80% of it.
I would have been I would have been inspired to do the voice like all the time if other people did. But
I sort of-
eventually, I kind of like lost the effort since no one else really tried.
next semester.
I talked to a noble
I
tongue.
just don't know what voice I would do for. Just do it in Asimov. Like you don't even have to like think.
You
Like, do it.
just sound like a person. You
But I
sound
sound
normal.
like a normal.
Yeah, but sound like
I just
other
sound like
than
the way
You
I'm
sound like not Avery, but sound like
yeah,
a person.
other than yourself.
Yeah, act. It's acting, voice acting. You're
Right,
acting.
it makes
So
Yeah,
if I were to play like my character, I would have done like a low, almost like grumbling or a low rumble of a voice. Because Dragonborns
have
or
some
very
character
large in
on
stature would have a very
I mean, other than like the
deep voice, I would think most of the time.
Would I have like an angelic voice?
That's up to you.
I
It's your
guess
character.
That's what it would be.
It's whatever you imagine.
I don't know. What would an angelic voice sound like?
I don't know. High pitch.
I just think everything I say.
really annoying.
But that can be a character. I want to do that, getting into the voice, but it's kind of a nerve-wracking thing. And now that I've played a game through, I think it'd be more.
1 second. This is your Kobe jacket.
It wouldn't be as stressful to do a voice through the whole game.
Rob
You know, like,
plays Toad, Next Adventure.
oh my god, Toad.
Peppers and cheese.
Using, yeah, like he loses his voice because he's playing Toad the whole time.
So,
Let's hear that Toad voice real quick, cameraman.
That was
That's the best.
Bacon, box bacon is his, the wrap bacon is mine.
I don't know if.
But yeah, tell us about your experience. What was your favorite moment in the campaign? What was your least favorite moment in the campaign?
Honestly, like it doesn't make sense to me how I roll 3 nat 20s in a row. Like I never roll nat 20s, so to roll 3 in a row is just like kind of crazy. And then now my character will live on into our next campaign, and I think that's like extremely exciting.
Whoever watches this, I'm assuming you watch Jet's content pretty consistently. He used to do a lot of streaming with us, like he used to stream fighting games with us all the time. He doesn't do that anymore for some reason, even though I brought it up to him multiple
Hashtag blame
times.
Jet.
What?
Hashtag blame Jet.
I am blaming Jet. He like has all the materials he needs to stream effectively in my house and just doesn't. Anyways, if you would like him to start streaming our campaign next semester, leave a like and comment about it. Especially why you would want to watch it.
You wouldn't even be able to do it.
We've been selling
Because
just
6
doing it
hours
regardless
just
of whether
killed
people
that.
say anything.
I have a battery
People
that he
will
can
catch
hook up to.
on over time.
Also, we could just record and like upload in segments, like 3 2-hour segments or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's not the most.
Next time on Fake King's Ghost. What's the next campaign titled, Colin?
That's the thing.
Rock
I gotta
song.
think about it.
Next time on Rock Song.
Roxxon's Coast.
Like Gerard, for example, is a fan of Critical Role, which is a D&D campaign that's run by Matt Mercer, a
I would
voice
like to
actor.
watch it, it's just too long.
Yeah, that's my problem with all D&D streams mostly.
I mean, it's like binging an anime, right? You
Wait,
sit
wait,
down and start
It's
watching.
a very different context though.
Wait, what were you saying?
Not
Especially
really.
with D&D stream?
Anyways,
Like when?
Like, with
Anyways.
100 episodes of D&D streams that go for anywhere from like 4 to 8 hours.
Matt Mercer basically created a class in his campaign that I am really interested in. It's called a gunslinger, and he wants to make a samurai. And I would really love it if we could have a cowboy samurai setting, which is an actual genre that I have taken a very big interest in lately. So, depending on that, like if I see the gunslinger stuff and I'm like, yeah, that works, that's balanced, the campaign will be far enough into the future where these guys can like swing around with 6 guns.
6.
Oh,
Guns
Tyr.
slang for revolver.
So Tyr, what was your most favorite part of the campaign? What was your least favorite part of the campaign?
Seeing characters develop around each other, especially early game. Seeing our characters not knowing each other, and it's almost like we have new personalities within the game itself that we all have to learn of each other.
Gesundheit.
So that was probably the favorite thing, was just learning each other for like a second time within the game.
And it's the first time we actually met each other. Some of us.
Yeah.
Like first time I ever met Max or Matt, like was their character. So it's like kind of hard to discern which is character and which is where like their actual personality
You
lies.
met Matt before, but it was so brief that you probably just don't remember any of it.
I feel like that would change though, especially with the next campaign, because we'll have to be something completely different.
Exactly.
That's a good point, Avery. Really.
Yeah.
You met him when you lived with Colin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he was poisoning out.
Oh, CJ.
Do you remember me?
What was your
He said
favorite
no.
part for the campaign? What was your
He's
least favorite
apparently
part of the
on
campaign?
Megan.
Yeah.
No, Matt.
not Max.
Oh, Matt.
My favorite part
Oh, okay.
were
I've never seen you before.
the
like
diplomacy,
this. Yeah, I
how
was
he would
like-
have a character made for us
Oh,
to
okay.
fight, and we just like had them come
Oh,
on
okay.
to fuck up
Okay.
all the
No,
stuff.
last
That
semester.
was for sure the best part. Worst part, characters being bitches, people just not falling in line with
So it was about a year
like the
ago.
diplomacy or the fights that we wanted them to.
Helped me get
Like the guy who lost the midget, whatever the fuck his
The guy who lost the midget.
The guy
Frosty.
who, yeah, Frosty.
Frosty the midget.
He was definitely not good at all. I'm glad he's dead. But yeah.
Okay, solid. Reiterate that first part real quick. I feel like they probably couldn't hear you. There was just a lot more noise in the room.
What I said.
About
The
your
diplomacy.
favorite part.
The
Yeah.
diplomacy. For
Just
sure.
talking our way out of like
Talking our way
situations.
out of dying
Yeah.
instead of fighting. Yeah.
I actually really vibe with that too.
I know you do because you're a pacifist. I hope you vibe with that.
I mean, I command
Or
other
what do you do
things
besides
to do stuff.
like diplomacy?
Yeah, true.
Your only move.
Hey, just to acknowledge, he had a monkey to do most of his work.
Yeah.
Throwing rocks. Throwing pebbles.
Just throwing magical
Magic
stuff.
pebbles. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Avery, we could use it as a analogy for being a king.
Yeah, for real.
He sat back and watched Monkey do all his work.
Essentially, my
Doing the
whole
same
character's thing was like not doing my own thing and having other things do work for me.
From day one. Your
Yeah.
boy was
So
like,
he was born a king.
your boy was like, hey guys, I'll be in the back. Y'all can kill things. I'll say hello with vicious mockery every now and then.
Now the
I don't actually do damage.
All he does is talk down to people. That's
Yeah.
literally all he does. That's
The
awesome.
smug aura became your kingship, dude.
You
That is
actually
literally-
lost the smug
abandoned,
aura.
yeah.
I did lose the smug aura.
For a kingly aura.
Well, he like worked off the smug aura. That was part of the character's like arc.
Yeah.
God bitch slapped him so
True.
much.
My character was also like a rags to riches character anyways. So it went from like rags to like riches to rags to like
Being a king.
mm-hmm.
Remembering that, like, Shadow told you you'd never amount to anything. Back in that vicious mockery fight.
Yeah, that was great.
You became the gambler king.
Now he's fucking dead.
Yeah, not the gambler king, the performing king.
Performing.
You're the fool king.
Oh,
Fool.
And my last name is Roxon Fools.
Lord Fools.
Lord
King
Fools.
Lord
King
Fool.
King Fools the wise.
Is he?
And he replaced Loki as the
Eagle.
Well,
Come on.
Yeah, I wasn't subtle with that, but it still took you guys six sessions to figure that out.
I didn't even know what his name was until the second session I was here, and I came in like,
You came in like around
Late.
But it was
section
everybody
6.
else.
yeah.
Everybody else has been here the entire time.
I never knew how to spell
CJ came
equal.
in like
I put an E at the beginning.
I came in late and I figured it out that I was looking.
Yeah, you were the one who like finally said it out loud.
Hey guys, fucking name backwards.
I actually really like the Roxon Shadow arc, like how it ended up going.
Yeah, I didn't expect it though.
Yeah.
Oh,
What did you dislike the most?
That fucking.
What did I dislike the most? About the campaign?
Mhm.
I don't know, cause I kind of went into it thinking that like,
D&D is lame.
yeah, I'm not a big D&D guy. I'm glad that I didn't do like a lot of combat though, cause that's my least favorite thing. I like that we.
figure it out again.
I'm glad that we did so much diplomacy.
Well,
I really vibe with it.
Do me a favor, next campaign, regardless, since the whole not combat part seemed to be everybody's favorite part, you just learn how to do some sort of combat level stuff for me.
Jet,
And you can still.
I would
do
recommend a
diplomacy.
rogue. If you're a rogue with a ranged weapon, you shoot somebody once a turn and you do a stupid amount of damage, and that's all you do.
The exact same thing you do anyways.
But that's what you would kind of do with like Eldritch Blast. Like that's what I was trying to get away from,
Rogues
right?
literally like, that's my turn, guy. Go invisible, and that's it. It's really it. You don't have to fucking.
Sounds like you.
Yeah, it's really easy. I would
But you
recommend
can't
trying.
take damage with this shit.
Alright,
It's like glass cannon.
here's a question for me. What did you guys not like about the campaign?
More roleplay would be like really nice.
Yeah,
Just more
that-
like everybody
that's-
getting more into their
I think a lot of it
character.
has to do with just getting more comfortable with
Yeah.
each other. Like
'Cause I mean,
we
this-
all kind of automatically started learning what's good and what's bad.
This is the first time I've hung out with like any of you guys.
I
for
think
an
we just
extended period
we
of
need
time.
to learn to have like better patience with each other. I think that's like our biggest thing. Is like some of us would get like upset with each other. You know, that's about it. Though.
We
I mean,
need.
it got so bad that I actually had to have like a mechanic where if Roxanne insulted Shadow God, I
Yeah.
literally just
You got
slaps
that
him for
karma
1d4
backhand.
damage.
That was the bitch slap of God.
So yeah, we would have to work on that, I guess, from my perspective.
I think
understanding where somebody ends and where their character begins, and only talking to their character as their character is like the real big challenge of being a character in D&D. Because you're severing yourself from who your character is, and you're only doing what your character should do without like actually thinking, oh, I'm Jet playing Roxanne, and I'm not actually Roxanne, but I'm gonna do what I want to do. It's a really hard distinction to make, and you kind of get better at it eventually. Yeah, honestly, I'm guilty of this. Kind of thinking back to it, I guess since you haven't asked me what I dislike the most about the campaign, what I like the most, I think based on my character's backstory and the kind of tone I set thus far, even though I did miss a few sessions, so you guys probably missed some characterization, I think Grumac would have like wholly betrayed the squad after a couple of turns, and I should have been true to the character and like role played it out regardless of like the outcome. And I kind of feel bad for not doing that, but I'm also kind of glad that the game ended on a mostly high note. So
I mean, and only one of you ended up dying this campaign.
yeah, it could have been worse.
It could have been a lot worse. Like I've had campaigns where people had to like remake characters, well, make new characters mid-campaign. I've also had a campaign that ended because my character died and I was only one of 2 PCs.
But what I did enjoy, I like playing new archetypes, and this was my first time seeing an Oath of Conquest Paladin played. It was really dumb and fun. The entire
Dumb is the key word.
the entire subclass revolves around the fear mechanic and making people frightened, and that's all you do basically. But you're also a paladin, so you just get to roll free radiant damage, which is kind of nice. It was fun.
Pin Knight Davis said, I've never played the D&D board game, but I have played D&D Neverwinter. He said it seems kind of complex. He means pen and paper.
Yeah,
I know what he means.
Okay.
Oh, we actually have like people viewing the stream now?
Yeah, we've had Nani and we've had Pin Knight Davis.
Once you learn like the base mechanics and what the game is meant to do, it's really easy to like understand once you have a baseline. It's just like doing algebra or riding a bike. Once you know the simple and complex
Parts of it.
skeleton of the entire mechanism, then you just do it.
Play and
D&D
play.
5e is also like the best example of the game so far.
Yeah, it's the most simple. Well, like you're a combat guy and you go ooga booga swing sword and you roll a 1d20,
Ooga booga.
or you do some kind of fucking formula to find out whether or not your fireball hits, and you just see what happens. It's not hard once you actually learn the mechanics yourself.
Yeah,
And they're not hard to learn either. It's just numbers, really.
that's the way I would put it.
Just read.
Yeah, read,
Just read.
and add.
Or just play D&D vicariously through us when we stream next semester.
Nice plug, Colin. Please donate to our Patreon.
We do.
I don't have a Patreon.
I do have a Patreon.
He has a
Oh,
Patreon.
never mind. He has a Patreon.
Yo, feel free to hit up my Patreon. Right now I get $1 a month from my dad. Join my dad.
Dad, donate more if you want.
That's simultaneously the nicest and saddest thing I've done.
It's
$1
a
month from
weird
my dad.
adult allowance.
Yeah. You're gonna take your Patreon.
$1 a month. Wait, is
Yeah.
it like
You're gonna take your Patreon one day, and you're gonna be getting like $200 a month, and it's gonna be like a message, and it's gonna say, "Get a fucking haircut." Not even a job at Burger King.
Oh, God. Is there anything else we really need to say, or do you think that covers everything?
I feel like anything else would be like really specific.
It would really just be rambling, honestly. Avery's character and Gerard's character who fucked a pair of twins, that was pretty hilarious.
So we have kids now.
We have the Descendants.
both of them did?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
they
both
both
got
rolled
kids.
high enough. Well, he also just...
I guess.
I was a god.
You know how, like, Dragon Ball has God Key? Well, he's got, like, God Semen or something.
Oh wow.
Well, the conception was before the
Yeah.
He wasn't Asmar, though.
Yeah,
So
he
he
was.
already was partially divine.
Yeah. I would have tried to hit up Potion Girl, but it sounds like Potion Girl's dead AF.
Oh, the witch, yeah.
Yeah.
I never confirmed that.
Well,
You said
Fair.
2 potions kills you.
Yeah, and she drank a lot more consistently. So if they weren't killing her yet, they
Immunity.
probably
The
weren't.
fuck is that Constitution?
Like, no, gaining immunity.
You know how like,
Oh, like snake venom?
Yeah.
Well, like how
exactly what I was about to
poisoners
say.
like take small amounts of poison to not die from their poison if they ever get poisoned.
Or they just teach their
It's like,
they
oh,
just teach
fuck,
their
cyanide.
apprentices how to mix up potions, and then it's like, oh, I just taught you how to mix water.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll meet the potion lady's
Shout
great
out to
great
John
great
Abercrombie.
great grandchild or whatever. Who knows? 1,000 years in the future. Who knows?
How long? What's the time gap?
I don't
between
believe
this
Colin
and the
has
next
made a
campaign, do you
decision
know?
yet.
When Gerard sends me the PDF with Matt Mercer's designs for a gunslinger character, and maybe a PDF that also includes like the guns,
Like the
guns and
history
weapons.
of how it's developed, yeah.
Well, I just want to see the weapons and I want to see the class. Because if it's balanced, I'll gladly let you guys play gunslingers. Because I did a D&D camp. What?
Throws blood hunters in as well.
The other D&D campaign I completed. I'm putting this chair. The other D&D campaign that I completed was as the GM was set in like a D&D in the Old West sort of setting. And the whole thing was I give everybody guns, but the characters learned how to break the gun mechanic that I had set up. And it was really ridiculous because I had like an enemy type that was like Minotaur Marauders, and they had Minotaur shotguns, which are like cannons that you carry around. And they took the Minotaur shotgun and they strapped it to the back of a covered wagon and used it as like a turret. This was Michael and Cole Avery.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, see that's
This
their-
is also the same group of people where they stuck a cannon inside of Cthulhu's leg and blew it to pieces.
yeah. That was the first D&D campaign I completed as a player. All right. Anyways, that's enough. It's midnight, and Avery and I have to be up at 6 in the morning to start driving. Anyways, thank you. Convince Jet to set up the streams because I think people would really enjoy that. And he's like getting really close with that camera. So, anyways, yeah. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thanksgiving. I said that wrong. Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas, you fucking degenerates.
This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only here with.
You.
I don't know.
Oh, I said my name.
I know, but they couldn't see you.
Alden.
Grumac Stillblood.
Oh, where that hand at? Where that hand? Ooh, introduce the hand. Oh, come. You're not gonna show the hand?
Pencil.
And.
Ashes.
Ooh, logging out.
Damn it,
Peace.
he's still a character.